Hello and welcome to Food Neighbourhoods on Monocle Radio, where once again we visit the places locals love for their food and drink. This week we're heading to Sweden, to the home of cinnamon buns, to meet award-winning home cook Lina Walstrom. Monocle's Tamara Thiessen heads to her kitchen in Vaxholm to learn how to make this staple Swedish treat. Take a listen.
The biggest cinnamon bun I have ever had in my life was in St. Paul, Minnesota, and it was addiction at first bite. I went on to taste, or rather hog down, cinnamon buns and their closely related forms, sticky buns and cinnamon rolls and scrolls across the country. America is the land of super-sized cinnamon buns. But visiting Sweden, I soon realised this was the true home of the cinnamon bun, or as they call them here, kanelbullar. Following my nose to the cafes, conditori and bageri, I became seriously unstuck on both cinnamon buns and the cardamom equivalent, kardemumabullar, both doughy concoctions with lashings of spice and other things very, very nice. On my latest trip, I hear about Stockholm's super cinnamon bun cook and ferry off to the island of Vaxholm to meet her and get a lesson in the Swedish art of cinnamon bun making.
But you should just have the room temperature ingredients. Of course, you will need more flour and the melted butter than in the other one to get a proper dough. And you want as little flour as necessary to keep the dough. Otherwise, it will be too heavy. And then when you want your kanelbullar, you just take them out of the freezer. You put them on your tray.
Lina Walstrom greets me into the kitchen of her Vaxholm bed and breakfast, where she runs a cinnamon bun baking workshop. So it's actually a B&B, a bed, breakfast and bun. The buttery, yeasty cinnamon scrolls have been entrenched in Swedish culture for a century, celebrating their 100th birthday in 2020. Linda explains their rise to fame when a baker came up with a novel way of making the traditional buns.
Instead of cutting and twisting, you rolled the dough and just cut it and then put the cutted pieces that were round like this in paper and then bake them like that, making it very quick, the whole process, and started selling that. And that was a success. So very many kids after school, they wanted their cinnamon buns.
Linda divulges priceless tips and tricks for a novice cinnamon bun cook. Don't heat the milk and butter. Also, freeze the dough and then eat your cinnamon buns to your heart's content every day. But as I find out, they are not the easiest art to perfect. Or perhaps I'm just a poor student.
When I do it in a rectangle and roll, as you said, not too tightly.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to work out why I don't get this lovely knot on top.
Because I twist it and then I roll it around, and then finally I end up taking the end over each piece. So I cut the piece, twist it a little bit around your fingers, then you go over and under, and then you get this extra.
Linda says cinnamon buns are a fixture of the fika, the Swedish coffee break and cake custom. And she confesses to cheating by turning cinnamon buns into cardamom buns in a jiffy.
The traditional fika table has the cinnamon bun and then there should be 7 different cookies, more of, dry cake like biscuits. Or it could be any different kind. It could be checkered biscuits, could be chocolate biscuits. Sometimes a sheet, because usually if you do a cardamom bun, you usually have a cardamom filling or vanilla filling. But I usually just do the cinnamon buns as they are. But instead of sprinkling the sugar like that on top, I just paint them with the egg yolk like always. When they get out, I paint them with melted butter and then I dip them in a mix of sugar and cardamom. And then you got the cardamom bun.
With typical Scandinavian minimalism, these are pared down from the US version, not nearly as sweet, more bready than buttery, and golden rather than glistening and gooey. Nonetheless, Swedes tend to be gluttons when it comes to cinnamon buns. It's a national sport. According to Visit Sweden, the average Swede eats cakes and pastry equivalent to 316 cinnamon buns per year. Sometimes Linda has orders of up to 400 buns a day to feed that infatuation.
Is there a cut-off point where even Swedes just get sick of them? Like, do they have to take a bit of a holiday from them, or
I don't
no?
think so. My husband came home when I had a cinnamon bun workshop, and he saw there were still trays of buns left in the kitchen. He said, "Oh, can I have one?" I said, "Yeah, sure. It's all ours because they are left." And then I think it took 5 minutes, and then he came out and said, "Linda, I think I might have eaten 4."
The Swedes are so kanelbullar crazed, they even have a national kanelbullens dag on October 4, where kanelbullar commercialism goes off the radar. Being a purist, Linda snubs it, but others see it as an opportunity for fun as much as a feast.
Food Neighbourhoods is a Monocle production from the team behind the menu. This episode was written by Tamara Thiessen and edited by Flynn Simons. For more food and drink stories, tune into the menu every Friday at 2000 London time. I'm Monica Lillis. Thanks for listening.